Hello, my name's Sarita and I'm speaking to you today from Soulhenge, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. Now, what I wanted to share with you today was a really deep understanding that I have received over surrender. And I'm talking about surrender in terms of the process of manifestation and as a state of being in your everyday reality. And when I really understood this concept of surrender, everything in my life just changed for me. It's been so profound that I really wanted to share it with you, and I hope that you understand what I'm trying to portray here. Because when you learn how to manifest, when you understand that you are a manifesting creator in every moment, there is always a part in the process at the end, once you've decided what you want and you've manifested, where you need to surrender the process to source consciousness. And no matter who teaches you manifestation, and there's a lot of people out there teaching it right now, they are always going to say at the end, surrender the process. And that's because if you don't surrender, the process can't happen. It just doesn't happen. And there are a few reasons for this, but the ultimate reason is because you are love. And so what I mean by this is when you surrender the process, what you do is you come into a conscious awareness that your natural state of being is unconditional love. Because when you surrender, you allow the process to do what it will, in the knowledge that you have come into this third dimensional reality as a being whose sole intention is to experience itself and in that evolve. So when you surrender the process, it doesn't matter how the manifestation arrives for you, because whatever happens is a route to your evolution, which is the ultimate reason why you're here, because you are a spiritual being, you are a soul having an infinite experience in a finite physical body. So when you surrender the process, you come into a deep understanding that you're a soul, that's who you are. And the thing is, that is who you are. You're a piece of source consciousness. You're a piece of God. You're God. You're God, basically. Now, this is a bit of a one for people to get their heads around, because we've just come, out of religion, and, religion is really opening up now, and people are beginning to realize that they can be self-empowered and they don't need to follow a doctrine which is telling them that they are less than. So this is a new kind of concept for us. And so what happens when so I've gone off tandem a bit, but when you surrender the process, you inherently realize, you actualize your connection to source consciousness and come into this awareness of who you are. And the thing is that if you are a fractal of source consciousness, if you're a piece of God, what you are, what can never be taken away from you, is that you are love. You are unconditional love. That's who you are. And all of these manifestations that you are calling into your life, either consciously or not, all have their place because they're allowing you to experience the truth of who you are, which is love. So when you surrender something, you trust in the process that everything that comes back to you in your manifested reality is a step in your own evolution, that there is a higher intelligence at work, that there is God all around you, through you, in you, and of you, working to allow you to experience yourself as a consciousness, as a piece of God. And so that's why surrender is so amazing. And that's what people mean when they say let go of attachment to outcome, because every single outcome that comes to you, no matter how awful it might feel at the time or wonderful, is just teaching you more about who you are. And we are in this really paradoxical situation where we don't remember why we came here or what we came from. And the whole point of the game, because this is a game, is to remember who we are, which is pieces of God. And in order to have that game, you've got to have forgotten who you are. So you come in having forgotten. And as you remember, you come into more and more self-awareness. And that's the game. And when you can reach higher states of being as your self-awareness expands, the joy in that is so vast, because you have come from its contrast, from pain, from lack, from fear, from loneliness. So as you observe those things, the opposite becomes more and more profound and more exciting. And what's happened to me in the last couple of weeks is that I've been understanding this sort of process of surrender, really getting to grips with the intelligence that is at work here, and letting go of having to have good outcomes, just understanding that every outcome is for my good. And my joy, my gratitude, my heart is I just feeling so amazing. And what I'm perceiving is that what I'm beginning to feel now is probably, I don't know, 1% of what I might potentially feel once, I've ascended into, like, I don't know, however many thousands of dimensions, bearing in mind we're just in like 1 or 2 at the moment. How many dimensions, the infinite possibility of arriving at an awareness of going back to God, basically, of an awareness of who I truly am. So if I'm sort of at 1% here in this third dimensional reality, it's feeling amazing. And so I can now begin to perceive how this evolution, how each step in the road to awareness is going to bring me more and more love and joy and peace and gratitude, extraordinary connection, communion, with all of you and with all the people in my life. It's just, I'm having a profound awareness. And in this awareness of how important surrender is, there's also an awareness that the best way to manifest anything is to manifest nothing. And this is a biggie for me, because like many people, I'm a bit of a control freak, which is why I got into the manifesting process in the first place. And many of us in humanity are control freaks, and that's because we've experienced pain. I've had, I don't know, probably less than some and more than others, painful incidents in my life, traumas that have made me want to control my life so that I was always feeling good, because I didn't want to feel the traumas anymore. And so many of us are becoming deliberate manifestors just so we can control our lives. But what I realized was the best way to manifest is to manifest nothing, because when you're doing deliberate manifestation, what you're doing is you're setting up scenarios that you want in the future, desires, which are coming from a place in the past. And if you can let go of all of that and come into an awareness of the truth of who you are, which is unconditional love, and just in every present moment feel the moment and accept it for what it is, no matter what it is, then what happens is you're not working in the paradigms of your subconscious program. So you're not coming from the past, you're not thinking from the future, you're in the present moment. And when you're truly in the present moment, you come into this understanding that you're unconditional love. And when you are being unconditional love in the present moment, what manifests into your reality is a mirror of that. And so the money arrives, the opportunities arrives, the people arrives, the friends arrive, the abundance arrives, everything you need, which is a mirror image of yourself as unconditional love, just arrives into your life without effort. And in higher intelligence is at work. And so what manifests into your reality is just the most extraordinary gifts that you could just never even have perceived. And this is what happened to me in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I've had moments of this and I understand this a bit, but I really began to understand this in the last few weeks. And I went into my circle. I've got a stone circle here at Stonehenge. And I did a ceremony, and in that ceremony, I made a decision that I would never again self-sabotage with thought, word, or deed. Or at the very least, I would become aware of it and stop myself. And I made that decision because I came into this awareness of surrender and the fact that I am unconditional love, not on an intellectual level, on a being level. And I made that decision and I went to sleep that night, and in the morning, everything started to change for me. Everything. I can't even tell you. It's just incredible. It didn't matter what was happening to me, and some of the stuff was bad. You know, we all have these things in our life that are bad. I just sat in this, I am unconditional love, and what will be will be. And things were changing, like bad things were like changing in an instant. It was extraordinary. And so this is why I really wanted to share this with you. And it may be that you can't grasp this yet, because obviously I've heard this message millions of times. You know, I've read millions of books. I've listened to the Dalai Lama. I've been to the Buddhist retreats. I've studied this. I've learned that. And people tell you different things, and different things land within you. And this is what landed in me in the last 2 weeks. And I'm sharing it with you in the hope that maybe it will land within you. But if it doesn't, don't worry. It's not your time. Surrender to what does land and what doesn't, because everything is coming to you in the knowledge that you are a spiritual being evolving into enlightenment. And that's the beauty of it, because every single thing that happens to you has a purpose. It just has a purpose in being what it is. And yeah, that was my awareness in the last 2 weeks. And I really wanted to share it with you. So just, if you can, surrender. Because if you surrender to the truth of who you are, it will all just come. It will just all arrive for you, and it will be beautiful no matter what it is. So there you go. That was my my enlightened thought of the week, and I hope it serves you well, and I'm sending you all so many blessings. Thank you for listening.